Dr. Pitsuwan, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
You alluded in your speech to the diversity of Southeast Asia, Christian country, Buddhist countries,
Muslim.
one of the largest Muslim countries on earth, and an absolute monarchy, democracy, all in there together. And ASEAN, sort of since its inception, has developed a very distinctive form of regionalism,
Yes.
based on non-intervention and informality. But do you see that model changing at all as Southeast Asia integrates economically?
Well, I think there has already been signs of change. You're talking about principle of non-interference. It's no longer absolute. Back in 1967, maybe, but now you see people are beginning to realize that with integration, you are exposed to each other's problems. So your problems today could be mine tomorrow. So, for example, in the case of Myanmar, when there was a lot of violence and misunderstanding and conflicts inside, all of us were having a tremendous concern. So we have devised what we call a constructive engagement modality, and that is to engage with Myanmar, to deliver the international community's concerns and along the way goodwill that Myanmar would transform itself. And but absolute non-interference is no longer possible in a world of integration in the way in which Southeast Asia is evolving, and East Asia is evolving for that matter. We have established something called the Common Fund to defend ourselves in time of economic hardship. Now, in 1997, we were exposed. Some of our currencies were attacked, and some of them went down, and that's precipitated the crisis. First Asian financial crisis. Now, since then, 13 of us, 10 ASEAN plus 3, China, Japan, Korea, have created a fund. We call it the Chiang Mai Initiative, multilateralization. Chiang Mai, after the city of Chiang Mai, where the governors of central banks of all of us and deputy ministers of finance came and decided to set up this fund. Now, this fund has led to an office to monitor each other's macroeconomic performances. Now, what is more intrusive than providing an opportunity for a central office looking into the way in which you run your economies? But we have gone that far. So, as I said, now it's 240 billion US dollars, 13 countries with an office in Singapore with the charge of monitoring how each member state is doing. What is your trade deficit? What is your current account deficit look like? What does your inflationary rate look like? If you go down, you will affect me. So this is the kind of thing that is evolving. Yes, there is a change, there is a transformation in the form of, in the way we look at non-interference.
And it's often been argued by advocates of economic integration that with economic development comes democracy. Southeast Asia seems to be, in some senses, an exception, in the sense that democracy hasn't caught on and thrived like many expected it would.
Imagine in 1967, all of us were authoritarian, centralized. Indonesia, Thailand. Malaysia has been a very strong one-party system all along. Singapore, one-party system all along. The Philippines went into a dictatorship for a while. But we are now emerging out and opening up. I think the growth of the economies, all economies, have led to a wider space for the media, free media. Not absolutely free media, but more vocal, more critical. And the space for the civil society, the space for the private sector themselves. It's no longer absolute as before. So actually the purpose of ASEAN has been dual purpose. One is of course economic prosperity, common economic prosperity, creating economic community. But the other one is gradually opening up the societies. And that's where we are now. I mean, Myanmar for a long, long time has been under the military. But, you know, with the dynamics, the interaction, the nudging and the prodding, Myanmar is now opening up. Reconciliation is going on at two levels, within the body politics, between the opposition and the military, but also within and among the ethnic groups. Now, other countries are going, you can't say that Indonesia has not gone through a transformation. The Philippines has come back from authoritarian regime. Thailand is very noisy, but it's a functioning democracy. It could be more effective, yes, but it is a very free and open. Too free and too open, maybe. Yeah.
Can you see then, as the Southeast Asian countries become ever more economically integrated, that process will speed up, this gradual change will accelerate?
I think so. I think economic prosperity will lead to the need for transparency, participation, ownership, accountability, gradually, and the social networking, the new communication technology, all these things, education, all these things are going to lead to a sense of belonging, participation, and ownership, and will demand accountability, will demand transparency. So all these political systems are responding to the demand and the pressure of their citizens, not at the same speed, not reaching, at the same equal level of democratic development, but certainly moving in the same direction.
One of the key themes of the speech that you gave this afternoon was the trading relationship between the West and the Southeast Asian nations. And previously, the Western countries have often been seen as the senior partner in that relationship. But now that the balance is changing, do you see a more equal relationship between?
Well, I
West
think
and
so.
East?
I think the West is looking at East Asia more as opportunities to go and invest. In fact, the highest source of foreign direct investment for ASEAN has come from Europe for many, many years. And then third largest trading partner, continues to be so, and more and more goods and services are flowing this way, and yours are being exported the other way, more bargaining power on the other side, because of the size of the market, because of the rising middle class, because of expanding and high and rising purchasing power. All these things are contributing to the enhancement of the bargaining power of those economies, and collectively they have more. And I think to the mutual benefit of each other, and they are making stronger representation on protectionism measures that you may have, on health ground, on other ground. But yes, they are making more and more demand and pressure, and equally, reciprocally, Europe is listening to them more, because Europe want to sell, Europe want to invest, Europe want tourists to come, Europe wants students to come here too at the University of Warwick.
So, as a final question, then, with the rise of the East, the rise of the Southeast Asian nations, China and India as well, you've made the case that as a positive change, that we'll see more cooperation, trade boundaries brought down. Do you see that there could be a possibility for any conflict or increased tensions between the West and the East in the coming years?
I'm more worried about the East and the East than the West and the East. There are enough of fault lines in our region, and Western external powers are interested in the affairs of the region, as I said, because the region has become more important. Anything happens, any derailment occurs on the growth path of East Asia, of Southeast Asia, it will affect Europe, it will affect the US, North America. But there are enough issues among ourselves that would keep us awake at night. What we're expecting is external powers can help, can make a contribution, can certainly restrain any trend toward, any evolution toward open conflicts among us and between us. That's one. And we need to build our own institutions. We are working on that. We need to build our own systems and processes that would help consolidate all these divergent cultures, norms, and governance levels of economic development to a body of rule and regulations within a forum. And right now we have the ASEAN Regional Forum that would lead to more mutual understanding, trust, transparency, to avoid an occasion or a situation of misunderstanding, of misreading, of miscalculation that could lead to an open conflict. And so all of us are in it together. Europe, North America are also very important for stability and security in our part of the world, for our common interest in economic prosperity.
Dr. Pitsuwan, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.